I can safely say that I am not the smartest, but in my batch, I can safely say that consistency is the key. Biochemistry preparation I did exclusively from Marrow, Dr.
Okay.
Rebecca James.
Rebecca, ma'am. Yeah, she's the best, I
Unparalleled.
guess.
I started using Plan C from my final year, and the main purpose of the video was to fill the gaps that I had noticed in my original source of notes that I had made. Uh,
Okay.
and I used the revision videos and the image-based question videos that were introduced in I think May or June 2020. That
Okay.
helped me a lot. That helped me to cover all the gaps that I felt that there were that were present. I felt that were present in my preparation, and I think the I think the question bank was the main area that I focused on in using Marrow. It
Okay.
told me what areas I needed to study more, what areas would be left out, because I think it is
Okay.
not possible
Great.
to do everything in this ocean of in syllabus. And
Okay.
I think the question bank of Marrow is really good. I selected that I needed to finish this subject in these number of days in my primary preparation, and I I watched videos of that subject in those number of days only. I allowed myself 1 or 2 extra days. Like
Mhm.
biochemistry, I did exclusively from Marrow, so I gave myself 7 days that I needed to finish biochemistry in 7 days, no matter what. And whatever extra time I got in the day, like I divided uh, the videos that in 7 days I have to complete. So I set a target that these many videos I have to watch minimum in the day. Whatever time was left, I utilized in doing another subject.
And we have yet another intern, right, who has proved that because a lot of you guys ask that is it possible to just after the internship crack a good rank, and it's possible. Pretty much, it has been shown by these guys. So Sushant, who the exam was difficult, and I was having a little chit chat with him, and even he thought that he might not be able to crack it, but a single digit rank. So when the exam is difficult, it is difficult for everyone. So Sushant, welcome to this session, and please say hi to everyone.
Thank you, sir. Hello, everyone. I am
So,
Sushant from MAMC, as I told before.
okay, so Sushant, I know, the feeling would be great. And so, what was more, which emotions you had most? So happiness, relief, or elation? What you had more after the result?
Uh, I would say elation, sir.
Okay, elation followed by relief, I guess. Anyways, all
Yes.
right. So that's great, Sushant. That's great. And okay, so preparing for competitive exam is not an easy job. All of us know that. So to begin with, I would like to know what role did Marrow play in this fight? For this competitive exam, what was Marrow's role in your journey?
So Marrow, I started using Plan C from my final year, and the main purpose of the video was to fill the gaps that I had noticed in my original source of notes that I had made. Uh,
Okay.
and I used the revision videos and the image-based question videos that were introduced in I think May or June 2020. That
Okay.
helped me a lot. That helped me to cover all the gaps that I felt that were present. I felt that were present in my preparation, and I think the I think the question bank was the main area that I focused on in using Marrow. It
Okay.
told me what areas I needed to study more, what areas would be left out, because I think it is
Okay.
not possible
Great.
to do everything in this ocean of in syllabus. And
Okay.
I think the question bank of Marrow is really good.
Okay, Sushant, we'll
And in
get
the
there.
late,
We'll get there. We'll get there
sorry,
into the question bank. We'll get to the
okay,
question bank. Bit by
okay,
bit, we'll cover each and every aspect. So,
Sure.
anyways, what Sushant was saying is like he used the main videos to fill up the gaps wherever he had in his notes. And because medical science is so vast and it keeps on changing, so that is what it helped him. Revision videos he was bullish upon, then IBQs and these things. Right. So one thing I'd like to ask you: see, we are taught by 19 faculties, 19 subjects, but there are few faculties from whom we tend to get touched by, we tend to get inspired. So can you
Yes,
name
sir.
name a few faculties in Marrow whom inspired you academically or non-academically?
Sir, Dr. Abbas Ali, ortho. I really liked his videos. And surgery, sir, Dr. Rohan is absolutely amazing. Uh,
Great.
I used biochemistry preparation. I did exclusively from Marrow, Dr.
Great.
Rebecca James.
Rebecca, ma'am. Yes, she's the best.
Unparalleled. Yes.
Great. All right. So, how do you use the videos as compared to, I mean, your timetable? While we make a timetable, we have a set number of hours per day. So, were you kind of a guy who would set the target to revise notes or watch videos for X number of hours a day, and you set yourself target, or you are kind of a happy to go guy, as much as I can do in a day?
Uh, Sir, I selected that I needed to finish this subject in these number of days in my primary preparation. And I watched videos of that subject in those number of days only. I allowed myself 1 or 2 extra days. Like biochemistry, I did exclusively from Marrow, so I gave myself 7 days that I needed to finish biochemistry in 7 days, no matter what.
Okay, so and see,
Whatever,
one thing is great. Yeah, continue. Please continue.
uh, and whatever extra time I got in the day, like I divided uh, the videos that in 7 days I have to complete. So I set a target that these many videos I have to watch minimum in the day. Whatever time was left, I utilized in doing another subject notes.
Okay, now tell me one thing. So one thing is that we have to revise our notes, we have to watch videos. Second thing is that we have to solve questions from that particular topic as well. So
Yes,
what
sir.
was your strategy? Would you first solve the questions, then go through the notes or watch videos, or was it reverse? First watch the videos or revise notes, then go to the QBank?
Sir, I feel that attempting question without any knowledge whatsoever of the subject wouldn't be so useful. So a primary reading of the subject is required before attempting questions, I guess, at least for me.
Yeah, no, I understand. I mean, there are different kind of people, so I just wanted to know. I mean, what was your approach? And all of us is different.
Yes,
We
sir.
can have different approaches, and that's totally fine. Now,
Yes, sir.
tell me one thing. I mean, how you used to use Marrow during your internship, particularly because internship is quite hectic. You did your internship in Delhi LNJP, and I know it's
Yes.
pretty hectic, medicine, surgery, everything. And even during this hectic time, how did you find time, right, to use Marrow for any feature of Marrow QBank or anything? Did you used to have time in between your internship breaks, or did you used to do it after the day used to get over? How you utilize your time wisely?
Sir, I felt that however uh, tiring it is, you can always find some time here or there in the hospital. While doing
Okay.
menial work, you can always look at some questions, some modules, short ones you can even attempt.
Okay.
Or what I used to do most was review the questions that I had gotten wrong in inside
During
the
the
hospital. And
okay.
yes, sir. And like GT questions, I used to review exclusively in the hospital itself because I knew I am not doing anything productive studying wise in the hospital. So at least I can
Okay.
review something there. I can
Yeah.
save my time when I get back.
Great. So this is the revolution that smartphone and internet has done. You can have just a smartphone in your pocket and open it and revise wherever it is possible. You don't have to carry bulky books. But yeah, the other thing
Yes,
you
sir.
must have is the desire to get there as an intern, because at times what happens is we tend to get that okay, I'm an intern, and we tend to get an excuse that I'm during my internship, and it's okay if I don't study, right? So you have to get that straight in your head. So Sushant, tell me one thing. I mean, why would you advise any of your juniors to take up
Yes,
Marrow
sir.
for their preparation? What could be those couple of reasons? Why would you advise Marrow to your juniors?
Sir, I feel the Marrow question bank is unparalleled. It it can offer you what no other app currently is offering. And GT rank is quite a motivation when the rank goes beyond 1,000. It is a real kick to
That's
now
true.
I'll even sacrifice my sleep, but I have to study.
All right. So coming to QBank, as you have said time and again, that QBank played a major role in your preparation.
Yes,
Sushant,
sir.
tell me one thing. I mean, did you have any definite number of modules that you target, that these many number of modules I'm going to finish today? Did you have any target every day?
Sir, I followed marathon for 5 or 6 days, but couldn't keep up. So I
Okay.
decided that I should just go with my own way that I am doing it. Like whatever subject I chose to pick,
Mhm.
I gave myself a target of whenever I finish the primary reading of that subject within 10 to 15 days maximum, I have to complete all modules of that subject.
Okay.
And the other time I utilized in reading the next subject, so that whenever my uh, previous subject got over, I would get another subject to continue doing the question bank. There shouldn't be a gap in the question bank.
Great, Sushant. So your juniors, they would obviously look up to how you must have utilized the Q bank. So can you guide them? What are the what are the best things to do in the Q bank to get maximum output? Because we might be doing utilizing the same resources, but we might not be getting the same output. So what is the best way to get
Uh,
maximum output out of Q bank?
Sir, I feel that bookmarking everything is not a good option.
That's right.
Even bookmarking everything you get wrong is also not a good option, because some questions I could feel that this is way beyond me.
Okay.
I'll waste 5 questions for remembering this one question. So it's better to skip it. Obviously, you can't skip everything. You have to be
Yeah.
selective. And if you think that I'll bookmark all the questions, then obviously you won't have time to review them or in the end. So even I didn't get time to review, I think, almost 50 to 60% of what I had bookmarked. So ये सोचोगे कि bookmark करके बाद में देख लेंगे, I don't think that would be very productive.
Time, yeah, time is of essence, and it plays in your mind. And tell me something
Yes,
about the
sir.
custom module. Did you at all use the custom modules to your benefit?
Sir, custom module I tried only once or twice. I was a little too ambitious and set the difficulty level too hard, and then I
Okay,
realized that I shouldn't be doing this.
great, great. No, it happens. It happens. You have to. It's kind of preparing a recipe, right? You got to keep on trying until you hit the right recipe for the exam. All right.
Yes,
So
sir.
we talked about videos. We talked about Q banks, and another major thing that helps us in competitive exam is when you test yourself, grand test.
Yes, sir.
So how many grand tests did you used to give every month? Was there any specific number?
Sir, I know that everyone used to tell ki it should be once a month in the first 7 or 8 months of your internship, of your
Okay.
but I could keep up with that only for the first 2 or 3 months. I got a decent rank in those first few attempts, so I kind of gave up. I'll do this in the end. And
Okay.
about 5 months before the exam, I gave another GT, and I got about 3,000 plus rank in that. So I realized that I shouldn't have missed on the once per month. And then
Okay.
I really started to kind of give GTs every about 2 or 3 GTs per month to get back on track.
Okay. So Sushant here is highlighting a very good point, which I keep on telling the students, that even if you're getting very good rank in GTs, don't take it for granted, because if you won't give granters, gradually you'll lose that touch, and even if you're not performing well initially in the grant test, this does not mean you don't have to give grant test. This does not mean you have to spend 4 months with your notes and videos, then you have to give grant test. You have to give grant test no matter what, because there are a lot of collateral benefits of grant test which you need to realize. And anyways, so while giving the grant test, I mean, what was the GT analytics? I mean, how did it help you, the GT analytics in the Marrow app?
Yes, sir. Consistently, I was kind of fearful of medicine, so I read a lot of medicine in my primary preparation, and the GTs consistently showed me that I should shift my focus away from medicine and divert it towards other subjects. So
Okay.
that was, I think, that kind of proved itself right in the INICT also, where the medicine portion was not so tough, and a lot of attention was required in pharma, biochem, and other basic sciences.
Great, great. So algorithms are getting the best out of human beings nowadays, and there is one your life proof of that, right? And see, I'll ask you one thing about the GTs. I mean,
Yes.
were you able to go through the explanation of all the questions in the grant test?
Sir, the first GT that I started to review, I started with the aim that I will read the whole explanation of all the questions. And I spent more than, I think, 2 hours, and I realized that I haven't even covered 50 to 60 questions yet. And most of what I am reading, I already know, and I am wasting time. Time is of the essence. So I
Yeah.
should review only the things that seem new to me. Obviously, that included all the wrong questions that I did. Some of them you can skip, where you can easily identify that this is a silly mistake. That is a big pointer to consistently reduce your silly mistakes as you go down the line. And whatever new stuff that has been asked, those explanations I read thoroughly,
Great. Again,
even
even
if I got it right.
Sushant is saying the same thing which we discussed in the last interview as well, that you cannot take 3 days at your will and go through the explanation. You cannot do that. You have a limited number of hours. You have to set that these are the number of hours I have, and you have to set priorities. My first priority should be those which I did wrong, right? Then those which I skipped. Then he said I went through those where I marked them right, but it is something new that has been asked. After that, if you have time, then you can go for the right ones, or you can just leave them and be at peace, because you have to realize you cannot be in every party. You have to skip some parties, and that's okay, that's fine, right? Now, one more thing, would you recommend your juniors to revise the GTs for revision, for the revision part? Did you revise the grant test, the questions?
Sir, whatever new information that has been added that I thought was useful that could be asked, I
Mhm.
added them to my notes so that I don't have to go back to anything. I will have in the end, I had a single register with all the 19 subjects in it, that I don't have to go back to anything. You have to consistently reduce down the volume of stuff you have to read. You cannot read everything one day before the exam.
Exactly. Now there is something like the 20th notebook where you have
Yes, sir.
all the
Yes, sir.
information that is fitted in, and I mean that is what exactly is reiterating, that whenever you prepare for any competitive exam, you're actually preparing for revision, right? So how are you gonna revise the huge, humongous content in few couple of days just before the exam? All right. So Sushant, uh, you look like Virat Kohli, and I'd like I'd like to ask you: you have any hobbies like cricket or football? I mean, what else do you like to do in life apart from being a medico?
Sir, I used to do roller skating. Kind of
Great,
left it in UG life,
very good.
and I like listening to music. I play used to play a classical instrument, but
Okay,
didn't really get time.
that happens. And during in between these days, whenever things would become difficult to go, how would you used to relax, or what was your stress buster kind of thing? in between these days of preparation? What would you do likely?
There were a lot of times that I felt like I couldn't study today. So the
Yeah.
best thing I can do, I used to do in internship was to stay some extra amount of time that day that I am feeling low, so that I can adjust it on the next day. That I leave a little early the next day and utilize it in studying, because it's not possible to study every day for one whole year, uh, especially with this tough internship. So you have to kind of mix and match, adjust
Yeah, that's
with your friends.
Yeah, that's exactly that happens. You'll have some lost days. It might be because of illness. It might be because of some other collateral family reasons. Anything it can be. All of us, we have those lost days. Either we can keep weeping for those lost days, or we can get back to what we do or what we know the best and get back on track. So, Sushant, that's great, right? And going forward, I'd like to ask you one more thing.
Yes.
Marrow as a app has a lot of features, and I'd like to ask you, was there any particular feature that you liked the most in the Marrow app?
The motivation it provides when you get a series of answers correct in the question bank.
Okay, that's great. And did you used to give those mini tests, those snacks of MCQs, mini test?
Sir, I gave one or two, but I thought ki I should focus myself on GTs more.
Okay, great. So, to summarize, at the end, Sushant, I mean, a lot of your juniors, they would, throughout India, not only in MAMC, but throughout India, a lot of medicos, they would look up to you that if Dr. Sushant has done it, maybe we can also do it. So, can you tell a few words for those students what they should do, and few words of inspiration for those guys?
Sir, I feel that consistency is the key. You, I can safely say that I am not the smartest, but and in my batch, I can safely say that consistency is the key.
All right, guys. So, Dr. Sushant is as humble as a possible a guy can be, right? And see, I'll just summarize what we discussed with Sushant until now. That he had been studious throughout his undergrad life, and what I have understood talking to him, that he's a kind of guy which who takes a challenge one at a time, and gradually he had been doing that one subject at a time and getting done with it. And no matter how much hard you study during your UG period, you'll still have some lacunae, right, here and there.
Hmm.
And it does not mean that you have just to leave them. All of us, we have it. You just have to find ways to fill them up, either going through the main videos or revision videos or IBQs. So there is one thing which he had done. Second thing which I realized from his, whatever we talked about this, is he was pretty much bullish about the question bank, Q bank, and grant test. He realized in the middle that he is not giving a lot, but when he realized that I should go back to it, right? Thankfully, it was not too late. And but what we learned from his mistake is that we cannot take grant tests lightly. Right? It's not only about, see, having knowledge of a subject is one thing, but transforming that knowledge into a right answer is another thing. And that is what grant test gives you an opportunity to time and again test you through those waters. Third thing which we learned about Dr. Sushant is that he has just finished wrapped up his internship in the month of May. I mean, or 14 days back, he's wrapped his internship, and he has landed a good rank. So many of you out there who have this question in their minds, that I'm just being an intern, I have too much of workload, and can I still be able to get such a good rank? Is highly possible. And I've done two interviews today, and all of them, they are just interns, right? One has finished just 4 days back, one has finished just 14 days back, and it's highly possible. And these interviews, guys, take them as inspiration, right? Everybody is different, but there is a thin line between copying someone and getting inspired. Get inspired from all these interviews, then make a plan for yourself in life, how you need to go forward. Find out your areas of incompetencies. All of us, we have incompetencies, but the great thing is we need to find that out, work upon that. And finally, all of you, you'll also shine like Dr. Sushant. So Dr. Sushant, a lot of thanks for joining us, giving your time, and enlightening us as to how you did this, and telling us your recipe of cooking such a good rank of rank 8 in NSCT. And from the entire team Marrow, all the faculties, everyone from Marrow, our best wishes are with you. And I'm pretty sure no matter where you go, whatever you do, you'll be successful in your life, and be a good doctor, be a good human being. And that's all from my side. Thanks a lot. Take care. Bye bye, Sushant.
Thank you so much, sir, for having.